What's up, y'all? This is BC. I'm going to do a video today for the men who watch me, right? There's so much I can talk about, but I'm going to boil it down to a couple points that I think are going to help you in your business and your life and just in general, because these are principles that are tried and true in my life and things that I've developed through childhood, through teenage years, right, into adulthood, 20s, and I'm almost 40 now, right? And I want to just come on and give you guys a few quick points that I think are going to help you, right, overall. Number one is this. You must be led by your purpose, right? That needs to come first above everything else. Okay. I remember being in high school. I remember being in my 20s, right? And being in a position where either friends or like relationships, like girlfriends at the time, and people around me at points would try to give me an ultimatum and say, oh, well, you're either going to choose us or me or basketball or whatever it was at the time, right? And every single time, even when I was younger, I went with my purpose. Okay. Those are just some personal examples that I can give you, but your purpose, whatever you deem your purpose, right? For me, it was basketball back in the day, right? Now it's legacy and my businesses and all this stuff. That always has to come first, because when you're on your purpose and focused on it and working on it, the best of you comes out. The best of you comes out, and people in the world gravitate towards that. When you lose that and you lose that fire, you lose that ambition, you lose that connection with your purpose, your light starts to dim. Because now life becomes about everything else instead of the purpose, right? And a lot of people have trouble with this point because they'll say it's selfish and this and that. It's not. If you're a man, dude, it's not. Imagine the past. Read history, right? Look at all the famous inventions and all the people who are of noteworthy, right? And a lot of them went through a lot of shit in their lives, but they stuck with that purpose, and that's why they ultimately created that thing or made that invention that changed and revolutionized the world. Had those people dropped it because of naysayers or other things or people calling them selfish, we wouldn't be where we're at today. And when I think and I reflect, even up until recently, right, when I'm on purpose the most is when I'm smiling the most enthusiastic, and I'm the most on my shit, right? When I'm doing what I'm supposed to do every day, focused on it, obsessed about it, I have that burning, desire to do it, right? That's to me the essence of life. And for all of you, you may be watching and saying, well, I'm kind of connected with my purpose, or I'm not really. It's simple to come up with your purpose, right? Many of you need to go out there and live life to connect with your purpose and to have experience, right? Try different careers, try different jobs, meet a lot of people, talk to people, get some advice, pay for some consultations, right? Talk to people who are moving and shaking, spend some time with them, right? Go to events. It's not watching phones, social media and video. That's not living life, right? I figured out when I transitioned from professional athletics to real estate by getting out there and locking horns with life. I started hanging out with my friends who were entrepreneurs. I started experiencing things and talking to people, right? And then I went to a real estate office, talked to somebody there, and then it clicked in that moment, right? But I had to go out there and get it. I had to experience life. I had to figure it out. It doesn't just come from you watching a video or something like that. You got to go out there, man. When it hits you, right? Just like when people have a kid, suddenly the kid becomes their sole focus and priority. Great, right? They didn't have to study to do that, right? They went through the experience of life of having a child, and in that moment, boom, right? It's the same thing with a person quitting smoking, right? Their son's like, oh, daddy, please stop smoking. I don't want you to die. They quit. They don't need the patch. They don't need anything else because they align with that purpose, which is I want to give my child the world. I want to be there for my child in that example, right? But you got to go out there and experience life, man. It's not just going to fall into your lap. We can't sit back passively. You have to actively engage with life. So that's a big one. We have to be moving towards and led by our purpose. And for you, it's up to you to identify it. When I was a kid, I identified basketball as my purpose, and I rode that wave until I stopped playing because of injuries in my mid-20s. Then I reinvented myself. Now I'm the social media guy. I do real estate, right? I'm a coach, traveling and speaking and all that stuff, right? But really now it's about legacy and helping people, right? I'm giving back as much as possible. I'm hosting a ton of stuff. Yes, I still make money in my businesses with coaching and all that, but I'm helping and impacting a lot of people. And that really, for me, is what builds the legacy and fulfills me the most now, moving into the years moving forward. And that's my purpose of what I'm focused on. And when I'm writing my books and doing this and talking with people and hosting events and speaking and traveling, right? Even going out at night and during the day and talking to people and helping them, like that's what fuels that fire in me. And I'm led by that and I'm moved by that and I'm committed to that. Okay, that's a big one. Okay. Number two is making sure that as men, you're not constantly pulled by and led by instant pleasures, and that you do what's correct based on the path that you're on. Okay? What I mean by that is this. You know that Friday night, maybe you should be writing your book or reading a book or doing something more constructive instead of going out and spending money excessively, getting drunk and doing all that stuff. But we'll go with the instant pleasure. Oh, I want to be around the girls and I want to do this, instead of, again, focusing on the purpose or the task at hand, right? The instant gratification, instant pleasure of the moment and social acceptance or whatever it is, right? All those things reigning supreme over what it is that you need to do. And that is a crutch of a lot of boys nowadays that will not become it. Being able to say, I would love to do that. However, I'm making a conscious choice to not do that and stick with this. What I will do is do the task, and then as a reward for doing my task and sticking to what I was supposed to do, I will then go out that following night or next week or that planned event, right? The resistance of that instant gratification for the task at hand, and again, you could say it's the purpose, but we'll say the task at hand, so it's a separate point. Think about that. How many times do we wake up and not want to go to the gym, or not follow our routine, or not read the book, or not make the calls, or not, call that person that we need to call, or approach that person in public, or go to that event that we should go to, right? And you always pay the price. You give into that temporary emotion of fear or whatever it is. Well, you're not doing the task at hand, and there's no excuse to not execute on the task at hand if you want to achieve and you want to live a life that others deem worthy, noteworthy, right? And not even for them, for you. A life to be proud of. A life that you're not looking back when you're on your last days, on your deathbed, like, oh man, I have so many regrets. You don't want that. You want to pass with a freaking smile on your face, right? So think over the last week or two, how many times you've denied the task at hand to go with an instant pleasure of hitting the snooze button instead of going to the gym. God, I'm so sore right now from calisthenics, guys. I've been doing it for 2 years. Man, there's days where I'm like, I'm going to work out, but I still do it because I'm committed to achieving the high level advanced calisthenics / like gymnastic moves and exercises because I'm obsessed with doing it. I don't care. And I'm not going to stop until I achieve it, even if it takes me another 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So be it. The journey is the journey. And I will always do the task at hand instead of giving into the instant pleasure. Now, are we perfect? No. But if the lion's share of the time, 80, 90, 95% of the time, you're doing what you need to do, you build that muscle. And it becomes easier for you not to go for the instant pleasure. And for many people, the instant pleasure now is just reaching for your phone. What's your screen time right now? 8, 9, 10, 12, 14 hours a day? Well, we know you're not working on your phone. You can't live your life on the screen 8, 10, 12, 14 hours a day and then expect to be successful and fulfilled and all these things. It's crazy, man. All right, that's number 2. We'll go to number 3, and then I might turn this into a multiple piece series. Number 3 is this. You must learn and work on yourself until you're okay with you. That way, when you go out in the world, you're not projecting your insecurities and being less version or less of you with the world. You need to go out there and stand confidently on 2 feet, square it up with the world, knowing who you are, what you bring, and what you represent, period. When you do that, you step into your essence as a man, and you start creating ripple effects around you. You now have that magnetic aura, right? People are now attracted to you, right? Suddenly opportunities come. You move differently. You speak differently, right? People's responses to you are completely differently, right? But that requires you being okay with you, working on yourself, doing what you're supposed to do, building your character, right? Knowing what you represent, what your value system is, what your beliefs are, right? Your code of ethics, all these things. And if you have to sit there and write it down because you never have, then start to do it. So you know who you are and what you represent as a man. Those of you who have followed me know, you know what I stand out, you know what I represent for the most part, even if you don't know every little detail. So when I show up, you know what you're getting. The world knows what it's getting when I show up. You see? And very quickly, people pick up on that. This is why men, women, people, kids, older people, younger, respond to me the way that they do. Because it's clear. It's there. It's boom. This is what it is. It's not a mystery or I don't know. It's, okay, this is what this dude represents. Okay, so I'm either going to like it or I'm not. And that's fine. I don't care if people like it or not. This is who I am and what I bring. And many people aren't even connected with that. Because on the back end, when you're by yourself, you're miserable. You don't do what you want to do. You're unmotivated. You're lazy and all these things. Well, of course, you're not going to go out and be a force to be reckoned with in the world. But you got to handle that yourself, right? Otherwise, we're expecting other people to pick up the pieces and fix us. That's not going to happen. You got to fix and build yourself. That way now, like next relationship I get in, I will build that person up. I will build that woman up. Not a problem. I'm whole here. That's my job. That's what I do. I build others, whether it's a friendship, intimate relationship, or whatever it is. But you have to be in a particular position yourself to be able to give that to others. And especially if you're a man, you are the rock. You are the foundation. You are the shoulder to cry on and lean on as a man. And that has to be established by you. And that's a journey in itself. And part of what I've done in my business careers and then in my private life has allowed me to build that up. But it's a quest and journey that you continuously need to be on. Because until you hit that level, there's always something missing. You're not going to have that you're not going to have that effect on people. You're not going to move and go after what you want without apology. It's going to be missing. Okay? Cool. So I've added some resources for you guys in the description, all the stuff that I offer. You know, if you want to talk to me, set up a consultation, get on my coaching and all that stuff. But I'm going to turn this into a series because I think it's really important. Okay? Hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you want me to elaborate on anything, leave a comment below. Anything you want to add, leave a comment below. And we'll see you guys on the next one. All right?